All right, so this video is going to dive a little deeper into model management for agentic workflows. And so what I want to jump into, in another video, we've covered how to set up your initial metrics for each of these workflows. And so once you get your initial couple of metrics that are available done in your playground, there are some registered model metrics that you can add that will appear in the playground, but you need to add that to the registered model workflow. So to do that, I'm going to go into this workflow, and then I'm going to register an agentic workflow. See, I've got some metrics being run right now, but to go into here, hit register agentic workflow, and then you will need to go into the evaluation and moderation for that workflow or for that model and configure it here. So we are in the registry and no longer in the workbench. So this is the registered model that playground or that workflow is using. And so I want to add something like prompt tokens, and so input prompt tokens or output prompt tokens, and then response tokens. So we can measure the consumption from a token perspective. We can also add cost based on whatever your cost structure is. You can go in here and set that up based on your input and your output costs. So it'll translate tokens into whichever currency you would like. So I'm going to skip that for now, but just keep in mind that the additional metrics that you can set up for your playground are actually in the registry, and they're set up per model. So I'm going to save the configuration here. And so now what's going to happen is I will go down here, and I've got the prompt tokens and response tokens as metrics. So for that workflow inside of your playground, you'll have those available for that model. And I'll show you that here in just a minute. Now to do that, you will go back into your workshop, so your workbench, and go back into your playground. And so now what I can do is I'll go into evaluation, and for the model that I just updated, I added these metrics here. Those are now available for the agentic workflow metrics, and then you've also got your playground metrics, which we had added before. So you have those two sets of metrics for your workflow in your playground now. So I'm going to go back into the playground here. And so I've got these set up here, and I'm going to deselect the second one because I just added the metrics to this one. So I'm going to aggregate by a average raw score, and I'll add these in here. And what this will do is I'm going to use that same evaluation data set that we used to set up the playground metrics, and I'm going to generate the metrics here. And so what that'll do is going to create a job. This will take a few minutes, and what will happen is it's setting up a metrics job for the playground. And so we'll see a chat here. We'll see the aggregation after the job is complete. And so I will come back and show you that once that's complete. And this is not completed yet, but you can see this being run right now. And so we've got our initial agentic metrics that were set up initially in the playground. And then we've got these new evaluation metrics that we set up. And this is telling how many prompt and response tokens are being used for this question and answer. And so as this goes through, it's going to ask these same 8 prompts from our evaluation data set and give you some metrics based on those and tell you what kind of consumption this is going to be using. So additionally, you can add costs and things like that, but that is how we add the metrics to to each of the agents inside of the registry, which then show up as agentic metrics in the playground. Okay, so now we have shown how to add some additional metrics and aggregated metrics to your workflows. And so now let's go into a little more about how to manage these models as you're moving towards production, and then as you're managing them in production. So I'm going to go back into the registry. You can either click on registry up here and navigate to this one, or just click on register agentic workflow. And this will take you to our workshop in our registry. See, we've already got our metrics set up here, but I'll just want to kind of go through some of the options here and show you what is going on and how we're managing our version control, or how we're managing our resources, runtime parameters, and whatnot. So this is the landing page for this custom model that your agent is deployed as. So we have full version control in here, and to create a new version, you add a version, and you can, we'll just do that. So add a version, you can create an empty version or copy contents of the previous version, and then you can do a description here. We're not going to create a new version just yet, but what we can also do is manage the source environment for the model that's being used, and then the environment version. So we're using the latest successful version of the code base that we're using to deploy this. So we've got the files that are included with the actual model that's been deployed. We've got our evaluation and moderation settings here that we configured already. We've got our runtime parameters, and so this is actually the runtime parameters that are set inside of the container when this is running. And then we've got some additional settings down here. Additionally, we can change the resources to a larger compute node in the replicas. So if you have additional traffic going to this model, then you can increase the size to this. So again, if you're having latency issues and you're having capacity issues, you can select a larger container and also scale out. So you can scale both up and out from this section here. The other thing you can do is you can restrict this to local access, which adjusts your ingress and egress settings. And so we can control security, we can control the compute resources and the number of replicas here. So I'm not making any changes. I'm going to cancel that. And we can also update the code base. If we were going to adjust this manually, we could, through code, we can upload a new code base here. And then the other thing that we can do here is we can test this. And so I've already gone through a test with this, and I've actually executed it against the same evaluation data set that we've been using. So basically we are testing the model itself against a question and answer and ensuring that the responses are coming back. And we are saving the results of that test, the model version, prediction test data, when it started, the test data set, and then whether it succeeded or failed. We've got our resources here that we covered in the previous tab. We've got the resource bundle size and the network access, the number of replicas, and then our runtime parameters. So we can control all of that from our registry here. So additionally, so I mentioned versions before, so we can look at a complete version history of this model, files that are associated, and we can download previous versions and adjust those. So if we need to revert, or if we need to look and see what's changed, we can address that here. And then we've got an overview that shows when it was created, the custom model ID, target type, and then target name. And from here, we can either run another test or register the workflow. So from here, we can either register a new workflow, create a new version, or just keep things as is. But this is how we manage our agentic models and our agentic resources. So you can do this with any of our DataRobot models, or you can do this with agentic workflows. You can also do this with MCPs. So this registry actually covers all of our model management assets in our approach to managing and controlling your ecosystem. So with that covers our model management for our agentic workflows and our agentic assets.